The notification lit up Jason Rivers' phone at 2:47 a.m. pickup request. Century City. 4.5 stars guaranteed. He accepted before looking at the destination. That was the rule when you drove nights in Los Angeles. You took what you got. Beggars couldn't be choosers, and Jason was definitely a beggar. His 2015 Prius hummed through empty streets. Downtown LA at night was a different city. Neon reflections on wet asphalt. Homeless encampments under overpasses. The occasional drunk stumbling from a bar. This was Jason's world now. Had been for 3 years. 3 years since he quit being an EMT. 3 years since the accident. 3 years since he'd been able to sleep at night without seeing that woman's face. The one he couldn't save. So he drove. Uber during the week. Lyft on weekends. DoorDash when rides were slow. The gig economy had swallowed him whole, and he'd stopped fighting. The pickup location was a medical building. Still had lights on. 24-hour clinic, maybe. Or private offices. LA had plenty of both. A woman emerged from the glass doors. Tall, maybe 5'10", professional, tailored black suit, expensive looking, mid-40s with silver streaking through dark hair pulled back tight. She carried a large black leather bag. Medical bag, maybe. She opened the back door with practiced efficiency. "Hollywood Forever Cemetery, please." Jason glanced at the rear view. "The cemetery? It's closed. I have access." Her voice was accented. Eastern European. Russian, maybe. Cultured. Okay. Jason pulled into traffic. Not his business. He'd driven people to weirder places. Last week someone wanted a ride to the desert to commune with UFOs. Another time, a pickup from LAX to a storage unit at 4 a.m. You didn't ask questions in this job. The woman, passenger name showed as E. Volkov, said nothing for the entire drive. Didn't check her phone. Didn't make calls. Just sat perfectly still, staring out the window at passing Los Angeles. Jason tried small talk once. "Work late?" Yes, that was it. Silence resumed. "Have you ever driven with someone whose stillness felt predatory?" When silence becomes a presence. They reached Hollywood Forever Cemetery in 15 minutes. The Gothic gates were closed, locked, but Volkov didn't seem concerned. "Here is fine." She handed Jason 2 crisp $50 bills through the partition. "Keep the change. The ride cost $12. $88 tip, are you sure?" I'm sure." She was already out of the car, that heavy black bag slung over her shoulder. She walked to the cemetery gate, produced a key from somewhere, and disappeared into the darkness beyond. Jason sat there for a moment, staring at the money, at the cemetery, at his phone where the ride had already updated. 5 stars. $100 total. What the hell kind of work did someone do at a cemetery at 3 a.m.? He drove away, tried to forget about it, picked up 2 more rides. A couple leaving a club, a nurse ending a shift. Normal people, normal destinations, but he kept thinking about E. Volkov, about that cemetery, about the way she'd moved. Precise. Controlled. Like someone who never wasted motion. The next night, 2:47 a.m., another request from Century City, same name, E. Volkov. Jason accepted. Of course he did. $100 rides didn't come often. Same medical building. Same woman. Same black suit and heavy bag. Same destination. Hollywood Forever Cemetery, please. Same silence. Same $100 tip. Same disappearance into the locked cemetery. This time Jason watched her walk away. She didn't use a flashlight, just walked into complete darkness, like she could see perfectly. The 3rd night, same thing. 4th night, same thing. 5 nights in a row. Same pickup time. Same route. Same silence. Same tip. By the 6th night, Jason had questions. Was she a mortician? Forensic specialist? Some kind of weird gravekeeper? Did cemeteries even have night shifts? He tried Googling Dr. E. Volkov Los Angeles during his breaks. Nothing. Elena Volkov Medical. Nothing relevant. Volkov Cemetery. Nothing. The woman was a ghost, online and apparently literally, given where she spent her nights. On the 7th night, Jason made a decision. Probably a stupid one, definitely a dangerous one. But 3 years of night driving had eroded his sense of self-preservation. When Volkov disappeared into Hollywood Forever Cemetery, Jason didn't drive away. He parked on a side street, killed the engine, sat in darkness, waited 5 minutes, then got out. Have you ever followed someone into a cemetery at 3 a.m.? when curiosity overpowers survival instinct. The gate was locked, but the fence was only 8 feet. Jason found a section where decorative ironwork gave handholds, climbed over, dropped silently on the other side. Hollywood Forever Cemetery at night was different than during day tourist visits. The graves of old Hollywood legends, Rudolph Valentino, Judy Garland, Mickey Rooney, became shadowy monuments. The lake in the center reflected nothing. Trees cast geometric darkness. Jason moved carefully, staying low, following the main path deeper into the cemetery. Then he saw light, faint, blue-white, coming from behind a large mausoleum. He crept closer, pressed against cold marble, peered around the edge. What he saw made his blood freeze. Dr. Volkov stood beside an open grave. Fresh. The dirt was newly turned. The coffin had been exhumed, sat on the grass beside the hole. Volkov had opened it. Inside was a woman, maybe 30, pale, dead, obviously dead. The funeral had probably been that day or the day before. Volkov worked with professional efficiency. She'd set up a portable table, medical equipment, IV stands, bags of clear fluid, syringes, electronic monitors. She pulled the dead woman from the coffin. Later on the table, began inserting IV lines, cardiac monitors, oxygen mask. Jason's EMT training kicked in. This was resuscitation equipment, but you couldn't resuscitate someone who'd been dead for days. That wasn't how death worked. Volkov filled a large syringe from a black bottle. The liquid inside looked dark. Too dark, almost black in the blue light. She injected it directly into the dead woman's heart. Then another syringe into the carotid artery. Then a third into the base of the skull. Nothing happened. Volkov waited, perfectly still. Watching, Jason watched too, unable to look away, unable to process what he was seeing. Then the dead woman's fingers twitched. Her chest rose. Once, twice. Ragged breaths. Her eyes opened. Volkov leaned over her. "Welcome back, Rebecca Chen. You died 3 days ago. Aneurysm. Very sudden. Your husband paid me $10 million to bring you back. You now have a choice. Accept your new life and the debt that comes with it, or I return you to death. You have 30 seconds to decide." The woman, Rebecca, stared up in confusion, terror. Tried to speak, but her voice was broken, rusty. 20 seconds. Rebecca nodded, desperate, frantic, agreeing to anything. Excellent. Volkov removed the medical equipment with practiced speed. You'll need weekly treatments for the first year, then monthly, forever. The cost is included in your resurrection package. You'll feel hunger soon. Not for food. I'll teach you to manage it. Your husband is waiting. He thinks you're at an exclusive recovery facility. Keep it that way. Volkov helped Rebecca sit up, dressed her in clothes from the black bag, the same clothes she'd probably been buried in. Within minutes, Rebecca Chen was walking, stumbling at first, then steadier. Volkov supported her, guided her toward the cemetery entrance. Jason remained frozen behind the mausoleum, his mind racing. This wasn't possible. People didn't come back from death, especially not 3-day-old corpses, unless Dr. Elena Volkov wasn't human. A branch snapped under Jason's foot, small sound, tiny, but in the cemetery silence it was a gunshot. Volkov's head snapped toward him, her eyes red, glowing red in the darkness, reflecting light that shouldn't exist. "Mr. Rivers," she said calmly, still supporting the resurrected woman, "you should not have followed me." Jason ran, back through the cemetery, heart pounding, legs burning. He'd been an EMT, he'd seen death, real death. That woman had been dead. And now she was walking, and Volkov knew his name. How did she know his name? He reached the fence, climbed, dropped on the other side, sprinted to his Prius, started the engine, pulled away from the curb with squealing tires. His phone buzzed. Uber notification. 5 stars. $100 tip from E. Volkov. And a message. "See you tomorrow night, Jason. Same time." We have much to discuss. Jason drove home, hands shaking on the wheel, mind spinning with impossibilities. Dr. Elena Volkov was bringing dead people back to life, and somehow she knew he'd seen everything. Tomorrow night couldn't come fast enough, and also could never come at all. Jason didn't sleep that day. Couldn't. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw that dead woman sitting up, saw those red, glowing eyes. He sat in his studio apartment in Echo Park. Cheap place. Thin walls, street noise constant, but it was his. Barely. One more month of good driving and he could make rent without dipping into credit cards. He tried researching, bringing dead people back to life. Results: medical journals about CPR, defibrillation, cold water drowning. Nothing about 3-day-old corpses walking. Resurrection science. Results: religious articles, sci-fi speculation, cryogenics companies promising future revival. Elena Volkov. Results: too many. The name was common. A pianist in Moscow, a realtor in Seattle, a historical figure from 1800s Russia. Nothing about a doctor in Los Angeles. Vampires, Los Angeles. Results: goth clubs, costume shops, TV show locations, tour companies. Jason laughed, bitter, exhausted. Vampires, right. Because that made more sense than whatever he'd actually seen. His phone buzzed. 1:37 p.m. Text from his sister. Rachel, still alive? Haven't heard from you in 2 weeks. Jason typed. Busy, driving a lot. Rachel, you need real sleep. Real job, real life. This night shift thing is killing you, Jason. I'm fine. Rachel, you're not. Come to dinner this weekend, please. Mom's asking about you. Jason didn't respond. Couldn't face family dinners. Couldn't face their concern, their pity, their unspoken acknowledgement that he'd fallen apart after the accident. The accident, 3 years ago. Woman in her 60s. Cardiac arrest. Jason had been first on scene. Did everything right. CPR. Defibrillation. Advanced life support. Everything. She died anyway. In the ambulance. Staring at him. Like she was disappointed he couldn't save her. Turned out she was someone's mother. Someone's grandmother. Someone's wife. Jason attended the funeral. Stood in the back. Listened to the family talk about her life. Realized he'd failed not just one person, but dozens who loved her. He quit the next day. Couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't hold life in his hands and watch it slip away. So now he drove cars. Transported living people to safe destinations. Nobody died in his Prius. That was the rule. Except now he'd seen someone die and come back. And the person who'd brought her back wanted to discuss things. Jason checked his phone. 2:15 p.m. In 12 hours he'd have to decide. Accept the ride request. Or ignore it. Block the passenger. Pretend he'd never seen anything, but he knew he wouldn't ignore it. Couldn't, because whatever Dr. Volkov was doing, it was impossible. And Jason needed to understand impossible. Needed to know if death could actually be reversed. If it could, maybe that woman 3 years ago didn't have to die. Maybe Jason hadn't failed. Maybe there was another answer. He set his alarm for 1 a.m., tried to sleep, failed, got up at midnight, showered, dressed, black jeans, dark hoodie, like he was preparing for something more than driving. At 2:30 a.m., he was in his car, engine running, waiting, watching the app. 2:47 a.m. Notification appeared. E. Volkov, Century City, Hollywood Forever Cemetery. Jason stared at the screen. Accept or decline? Life or death? Truth or ignorance? He accepted. Here we go, he muttered to the empty car. Whatever happened next, at least he'd know. At least he'd understand. At least he'd face the impossible head-on instead of running away like he'd been running for 3 years. The night shift continued, and Jason Rivers drove toward answers that would change everything. Have you ever watched the impossible become routine? When horror transforms into procedure? Jason picked up Dr. Volkov at exactly 2:47 a.m. Same building, same suit, same black bag, but this time, when she got in the car, she didn't give a destination. Drive, Mr. Rivers. Anywhere. We need privacy for this conversation. Jason pulled into traffic, his hands steady on the wheel despite his racing heart. EMT training. Stay calm in crisis. Assess. Respond. Survive. You saw something last night that you weren't supposed to see, Elena said. Her accent made each word precise, clinical. Now we have a problem. You understand problems, don't you? You had a big problem 3 years ago. Mrs. Patricia Morrison, 63 years old, cardiac arrest. You couldn't save her. Jason's blood went cold. How do you... I know everything about my drivers, Jason. Social security number, credit score, medical history, employment records, that unfortunate incident that ended your EMT career. I know you dream about her, that you can't sleep at night, that you drive instead because darkness feels safer than those dreams. Have you ever realized someone knows your secrets? When privacy becomes a weapon pointed at you? What are you? Jason's voice was steadier than he felt. I'm a doctor, a scientist, an entrepreneur. I'm 347 years old, and I'm offering you a choice." Jason kept driving, while the streets blurred past. His mind tried to process. 347 years. Impossible. Except he'd seen impossible last night. "I don't believe in vampires," he said. "Good. Neither do I. The word is reductive, folkloric. I prefer evolutionary variant, Homo sapiens nocturnus, a subspecies that evolved parallel to humans. Different metabolic requirements, extended lifespan, enhanced physical capabilities, but fundamentally still human. Just improved. You drink blood. I consume blood, yes, as you consume water. It's biology, not mysticism. My cells require specific proteins found in fresh human blood. I've synthesized substitutes, but they're inferior, like comparing vitamin pills to actual food." Jason took a turn onto Sunset Boulevard. Empty at this hour. And the woman at the cemetery? Rebecca Chen. She was dead. She was. Now she's not. That's my specialty, resurrection science, and I've spent 2 centuries perfecting it. The serum combines my blood, which has remarkable regenerative properties, with specific neurotransmitters and cellular activators. It reboots the body, restarts the brain, returns the dead to functional life. That's impossible. You saw it happen. Why? Jason asked. Why bring people back? Because her husband paid me $10 million. Because resurrection is the ultimate luxury service. Because the wealthy will pay anything to avoid death. And because I need to eat, Jason. My clients provide blood donations as part of their treatment plan. Weekly at first, then monthly. Forever. It's sustainable feeding. Ethical even. They get life. I get sustenance. Everyone benefits. Jason's stomach turned. You're running a pyramid scheme. With corpses. Elena smiled. He could see it in the rear view, cold, amused. I prefer to call it a subscription model. Very modern. Very Los Angeles. I have 312 active clients, each paying between $50,000 and $200,000 annually for maintenance treatments. That's $40 million in revenue per year, plus initial resurrection fees. It's quite profitable. And they're all, like you, vampires? No, they're human, just modified. The serum doesn't make them vampire. It makes them dependent. They need regular infusions to maintain cellular function. Without treatments, they degrade, age rapidly, die within months. So they stay loyal, they stay quiet, and they stay profitable. Jason drove in silence, processing. This was worse than vampires. This was medical exploitation. This was turning death into business, into eternal servitude. You're a monster, he said quietly. I'm a survivor, and now you're a liability. Which brings us to your choice. Elena leaned forward, close enough that Jason could smell her perfume, expensive, floral, with something underneath. Metallic. Blood. Option 1. I kill you. Simple, efficient. Your body joins the many others in Los Angeles that disappear every year. Option 2. You become my employee, my driver, my assistant, my partner in this enterprise. Why would I agree to that? Because option 3 is worse than death. What's option 3? I resurrect Patricia Morrison, the woman you failed to save. I bring her back and I make her my client. She lives again, but she knows you let her die. She knows you quit instead of trying harder. She knows you're a coward. And I make sure she tells everyone. Your sister Rachel, your mother, everyone who thinks you're just struggling will know you're a failure who ran away. Jason's hands tightened on the wheel. You're bluffing. She's been dead 3 years. She's decomposed? Yes, that makes resurrection more expensive, more complicated, but not impossible. I've brought back older corpses. For the right price, anything is possible, and I'm willing to pay that price to ensure your cooperation. Have you ever been threatened with something worse than death? When your past becomes a hostage. Jason drove in silence for 3 blocks. 4, 5. His mind racing. He could go to the police, but with what evidence? A story about vampires and resurrection? They'd think he was insane. He could run, leave L.A., start over. But Elena knew everything about him. She'd find him, or he could accept, become part of this, learn the system from inside, maybe find a way to stop it. What would I have to do? He asked. Drive. Pick up clients from hospitals, morgues, funeral homes, transport them to resurrection sites, assist with procedures, maintain equipment, keep records, ensure discretion. Standard assistant duties, and the pay? 20% of fees. Roughly $8 million annually. Jason nearly crashed the car. $8 million? You seem surprised. Did you think I'd offer minimum wage? This is skilled labor, Jason. Dangerous, illegal, life-threatening. The compensation reflects that. $8 million. Jason made $30,000 driving Uber. Barely survived. Barely functioned. $8 million was everything. Was escape. Was freedom. Was never worrying about rent or food or whether his car would die. It was also blood money, literally. I need time to think, Jason said. You have until sunrise. 4 hours. After that, I make my decision for you. Pull over here. Jason stopped at a red light. Elena opened the door, stepped out, that heavy black bag over her shoulder. Check your app, Jason. I've sent you an address. Meet me there at sunrise, 6:47 a.m. Bring your answer. And choose wisely. Your life and Patricia Morrison's rest depend on it. She walked away, disappeared into L.A. darkness like she'd never existed. Jason sat at the red light. Even after it turned green. Even after cars honked behind him. $8 million. Or death. Or worse than death. He drove home. Mind spinning. Pulled up to his apartment at 4:15 a.m. Sat in the car, staring at his phone. The address Elena sent was in Beverly Hills. Mansion. Probably her home. Where he'd give his answer. Where his life would change forever. One way or another, Jason went inside. Didn't sleep. Sat on his couch. Thought about money. About Patricia Morrison. About 312 people walking around Los Angeles who should be dead but weren't. About resurrection being real. About vampires being real. About everything he thought he knew being wrong. He thought about his sister Rachel. About his mom. About the bills piled on his counter. About driving Uber for the rest of his life. About being nobody. About being invisible. $8 million. He could save his family. Could save himself. Could finally breathe. All he had to do was help a vampire exploit the dead. At 6:30 a.m., Jason was in his Prius, driving to Beverly Hills. He hadn't made a decision yet, or maybe he had and didn't want to admit it. The address was a gated estate, old Hollywood style. Is Spanish architecture. High walls, private, secure. The gate opened as he approached. Expected him. He drove up a curved driveway, parked in front of a main house that looked like it cost $20 million minimum, more than he'd make in 10 lifetimes, one of Elena's lifetimes. The front door opened before he knocked. Elena stood there, no black suit this time. Casual clothes, jeans, silk blouse. She looked younger in daylight, softer, almost human. Come in, Jason, I've made coffee. The interior was exactly what he expected. Modern furniture, expensive art, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking manicured gardens, and in the corner, a medical setup. Examination table, IV stands, refrigeration units, a mini hospital in a mansion living room. Elena poured coffee, handed him a cup. Well? Jason looked at her. This creature that looked human but wasn't. That had lived 300 years. That had turned death into profit. That was offering him everything he'd ever wanted. I want to see it, he said. The whole operation, how it works, who the clients are, everything. Before I decide. Elena smiled. Smart, cautious, good qualities in an assistant. Very well. I'll show you everything. But Jason, once you see everything, you're committed. You can't unsee this. You can't walk away. Understanding means complicity. Are you sure? Jason thought about Patricia Morrison, about failure, about 3 years of driving in circles, about running from his past. I'm sure. Then welcome to the business of resurrection, Mr. Rivers. Let me introduce you to my very exclusive clientele. Elena pulled out an iPad, opened a file. 312 active clients. Here's the current roster. She turned the screen. Jason looked at the names. His blood froze. Movie producers, studio executives, tech CEOs, politicians, attorneys, doctors, celebrities he'd seen on screens, names he recognized from news. LA's elite. The people who ran this city, all dead, all resurrected, all dependent on Dr. Elena Volkov for continued life. My God, Jason whispered. No God involved, Elena said. Just science. Just business. Just survival. Welcome to the night shift, Jason. Your real work begins tonight. She handed him a black uniform, a medical badge, a key card. You start at midnight. I'll text you the first pickup. A fresh death. Heart attack. 72 years old. Billionaire. Family's already paid. We collect the body at 12:30 a.m., resurrection at 2 a.m., home by 4 a.m., clean, efficient, profitable. Jason held the uniform. The badge, the key to a world he'd just discovered existed. He'd made his choice. Maybe made it the moment Elena offered. Maybe made it when Patricia Morrison died and he couldn't save her. Maybe made it when he started driving nights because he couldn't face daylight. One question, Jason said. The clients, do they know that you're a vampire? Some do. Most don't. They think I'm just an extremely talented doctor with experimental treatments. They don't ask questions. They don't want to know. They just want to live. People are very good at ignoring uncomfortable truths when it benefits them. Have you ever accepted a deal with the devil? When damnation looks like salvation? Jason nodded. Okay, I'm in. Excellent. Now finish your coffee. You have a long night ahead. And Jason? One rule. Never try to resurrect someone without my supervision. The serum is volatile. The process is delicate. Mistakes are messy and permanent. Understood? Understood. Good. Welcome to the family business. Now get some sleep. You look terrible. Elena walked away. Left Jason alone in her mansion. With his coffee. With his choice. With the knowledge that he'd just sold his soul for $8 million and the chance to be part of something impossible. He looked at his phone. Text from his sister, Rachel. Still coming to dinner this weekend? Jason typed. Yeah, I'll be there. Got some good news to share. Things are looking up. He sent it. Finished his coffee. Stood in a vampire's living room. And wondered what the hell he'd just agreed to. But he knew. He'd agreed to drive the night shift, literally. For the undead. For the resurrected. For Los Angeles' secret elite who'd cheated death and didn't want anyone to know. Jason Rivers was no longer just an Uber driver. He was an accomplice to resurrection, an employee of immortality, a partner in the business of bringing back the dead. And tonight, at midnight, his real education would begin. Jason's phone woke him at 11 p.m. He'd managed 4 hours of sleep. Dreamless for once. Maybe exhaustion. Maybe acceptance. Maybe his brain had finally broken. Text from Elena. Pick up at Cedars-Sinai. Loading dock. Midnight. Black van will be waiting. Key under driver mat. Come alone. Jason dressed in the black uniform Elena had given him. Medical scrubs, essentially. But high-end. Expensive fabric. The badge clipped to his chest read Dr. J. Rivers, Volkov Medical Services. He wasn't a doctor. Hadn't finished college. But in this world, apparently, credentials didn't matter. Only discretion. The drive to Cedars-Sinai took 20 minutes. L.A. traffic was lighter at night, but never truly gone. Jason parked his Prius in a public lot. Found the loading dock. A black Mercedes Sprinter van sat in the shadows. Key under the mat, exactly as Elena said. Inside the van was a mobile medical unit. Refrigerated compartments. IV equipment. Monitoring devices. Restraints built into a gurney. Everything needed for. What? Transportation? Resurrection? Both? Jason's phone buzzed. Room 847, coronary care unit. Ask for Nurse Patterson. She's expecting you. He entered through the loading dock. Used the service elevator. Rode to the 8th floor. The hallway was quiet. Night shift. Minimal staff. A nurse at the station looked up as he approached. Dr. Rivers? She asked. Young, maybe 25. Tired eyes. Yes. Room 847. He passed 20 minutes ago. Family's with him now. They've been prepared. You have 15 minutes before we call it officially. Jason nodded like he understood, like he'd done this before. Inside, his stomach churned. Nurse Patterson led him to the room. Private, expensive, a man lay in the bed. 70s. Gray hair, peaceful expression, medical equipment still attached but silent. Flatlined. 2 people stood beside the bed. Woman in her 40s. Daughter maybe. Man in his 30s. Son. This is Dr. Rivers, Nurse Patterson said. From Volkov Medical. He'll handle the transfer, the woman nodded, eyes red but dry. She'd cried already. Now she was just waiting. Will it work? Will he really? Dr. Volkov has a perfect success rate, Jason heard himself say. Your father will be home within 12 hours. The woman's face crumpled with relief. Thank you. God, thank you. We couldn't lose him. Not yet. He has so much left to do. Jason wanted to ask, does he know? Does your father know he's about to become one of Elena's clients? Does he understand the price? But he didn't ask. Just prepared the gurney, disconnected the monitors, transferred the body with practiced efficiency. His EMT training returned.
Muscle memory. The sun helped.
Strong guy. Didn't flinch at handling his dead father. Dr. Volkov said we should prepare the guest house, private space. He'll need quiet for the first few weeks? Yes. The adjustment period can be difficult. He'll need supervision, support. Dr. Volkov will provide detailed instructions. Have you ever lied to grieving family while stealing their dead? When complicity becomes routine, Jason wheeled the gurney out. Down the service elevator, into the loading dock. The nurse didn't look at him, didn't acknowledge anything. She'd been paid, or threatened, or both. He loaded the body into the van, secured it, started the engine. His phone buzzed. Elena, Hollywood Forever. Section 14. I'm waiting. Jason drove. The body behind him, cold, dead, about to be not dead, about to join 311 others in Elena's pyramid scheme. Traffic was light. He made it to the cemetery in 18 minutes. The gate was open this time. He drove through, followed the winding paths to Section 14. Elena stood beside an open grave, fresh, different from Rebecca Chen's. This one had been prepared, excavated earlier, lined with plastic sheeting, medical equipment already set up, lights, monitors, the resurrection station. Punctual, good. Elena helped him unload the body. Meet Daniel Carver, tech billionaire, invented some algorithm that changed social media. Worth $8 billion. Died of a heart attack during a board meeting. Family paid $30 million for resurrection, plus $2 million annually for treatments. Very profitable client. Doesn't it bother you? Jason asked. We're talking about them like products? Does it bother you that restaurants talk about meat? That hospitals charge for life-saving treatment? This is business, Jason. Emotion is expensive. Now help me position him. They laid Daniel Carver on the table. Elena worked with surgical precision. IV lines, cardiac leads, oxygen, then the black bottle. The serum. 3 syringes. Heart, carotid, skull base. Jason watched, memorizing. The process was complex but repeatable, scientific. Elena wasn't lying about that part. How long does it take? Jason asked. Depends on time since death. Fresh corpses like this, 5 to 8 minutes. Older deaths take longer. The cells need more coaxing. After 72 hours, success rate drops to 60%. After a week, 20%. After a month, nearly impossible. I've done it exactly once. Medieval plague victim. Fascinating case. Took 4 hours and nearly killed me from the blood expenditure. You use your own blood? It's the key ingredient. My blood contains the regenerative factors. The rest is just delivery system. Each resurrection costs me roughly 2 pints. I can spare it, but I need to feed more frequently during high-volume periods, which is why the client blood donations are essential. Daniel Carver's fingers twitched. Jason jumped. Elena didn't. Right on schedule, she said, watching her monitors. The cardiac function resuming, neural activity increasing, cellular regeneration at 40%, 60, 80, full function in 30 seconds. Carver's chest rose, breath drawn, eyes opened, confused, terrified, gasping. Mr. Carver, Elena said calmly, you're experiencing resurrection. This is normal. The disorientation will pass. Breathe slowly. Your family is waiting. Died? His voice was rough, broken. I remember pain, chest, then nothing. You had a massive coronary infarction, fatal. Your family engaged my services. You're now in the post-resurrection phase. You'll need weekly treatments for 12 months, then monthly maintenance indefinitely. The alternative is cellular breakdown and death within 90 days. Do you understand? Carver looked at her, at Jason, at the cemetery around them. Reality crashing down. I'm trapped? I have to keep coming back to you. You have to keep living, Mr. Carver. That requires treatment. Yes. And if I refuse? Then you die. Again. Permanently. Your choice. Carver sat up. Slowly, testing his body. His resurrection. How much? $2 million annually. You can afford it. I don't want my family to know. The treatments. Can they be discreet? Absolutely. Most clients prefer privacy. I operate a private clinic. You'll come for routine checkups. No one needs to know the truth. Carver nodded, calculating. Already adapting. Fine, schedule me Tuesdays after market close. Excellent. Jason will drive you home. Your wife is expecting you. We've told her you had a cardiac event, but responded to experimental treatment. She believes you were at a specialized facility. Maintain that story. Elena helped Carver dress. Steady him. Within 15 minutes, the tech billionaire was walking, weak but functional. Jason supported him to the van. They drove in silence. Carver stared out the window at L.A., seeing it different now. Knowing he'd crossed a line most people never crossed. "Does it hurt?" he asked finally. "Being dead?" Jason glanced at him.
"I don't know."
"I've never died. Lucky you." Carver laughed, bitter, hollow. "I remember nothing. Just pain, then nothing, then waking up in a grave. Is this hell? Did I come back to hell? This is Los Angeles. Same thing." Carver closed his eyes. "How many? How many others like me?" "I don't know," Jason lied. He knew, 312. Now 13? She owns us, doesn't she? That woman. Dr. Volkov. She brings us back and now we're hers. Forever. Until we die again. Or until she does. I think that's the idea. Smart. Diabolical, but smart. I'd have done the same thing if I'd thought of it. Monopoly on resurrection. Infinite revenue stream. Perfect business model. Carver opened his eyes. "You're new. I can tell. You still look horrified. Give it time. You'll get used to it. To her, to this. Everyone does. Have you ever watched someone rationalize their own exploitation? When survival requires accepting the unacceptable, they reached Carver's estate. Bel Air. Massive. Gated. His wife rushed out, crying, hugging him. Thanking Jason profusely. "He'll need rest," Jason said. Following Elena's script. Quiet. No stress. Dr. Volkov will call tomorrow with follow-up instructions. Mrs. Carver nodded. Led her resurrected husband inside. Back to his life. His empire. His second chance. Jason drove away. Back to Elena's mansion. It was 3:47 a.m. The resurrection had taken less than 4 hours. Birth to death to life again. Assembly line efficiency. Elena was waiting in her living room. Glass of something dark in her hand. Wine or blood. Jason didn't want to know. "Well done," she said. Natural, professional. "You didn't panic." "I wanted to, but you didn't. That's what matters. Control, discretion, emotional distance. Those are the skills this job requires. How do you feel?" Jason sat down, exhausted. "Like I just helped resurrect a billionaire who's now trapped in an eternal subscription service with a vampire. Accurate summary. And I'm complicit. I'm part of this. I can't unsee it. Can't undo it. I'm in." Elena smiled. "Exactly. Welcome to the moral complexity of resurrection, Jason. It gets easier. The first one is always hardest. By the 10th, you'll barely think about it. By the 100th, it'll be routine. Have you done hundreds? I've done 7,412 over 3 centuries. Most died eventually. Accidents, suicides, failures to maintain treatment. But some are still active. My oldest client is 138 years old. Resurrected in 1887, still paying. Still living. Still trapped? That's horrifying. That's business. Now go home. Sleep. Your next shift is tomorrow night. 2 resurrections. Both fresh, both wealthy, both desperate. You'll do fine." Jason stood, headed for the door, stopped. "What happens if I quit? If I decide this is too much?" Elena's expression didn't change. "You can't quit, Jason. You're already complicit. You've seen too much, know too much. The only exit from this job is death, yours or mine. And I'm much harder to kill than you. So I suggest you learn to live with your choices. As we all do." Jason left, drove home, sat in his car outside his apartment, watched the sunrise. First time he'd seen dawn in months. His phone buzzed. Bank notification. Deposit. 666,666 with memo. Week 1 advance. Volkov Medical. $250,000 for one night's work, for helping resurrect one billionaire, for selling whatever remained of his soul. Have you ever sold your soul and felt relief? When damnation looks like financial freedom? Jason laughed. Bitter. Broken. Then went inside. He'd made his choice. Now he had to live with it, for however long Elena Volkov allowed him to live. 3 weeks passed. Jason assisted with 14 resurrections. He learned the system, the procedure, the client management, the discretion required. He met actors who'd overdosed, executives who'd had strokes, socialites who'd crashed cars, all brought back, all trapped, all pretending everything was fine while secretly visiting Elena for blood treatments. He learned which hospitals were cooperative, which morgues had been paid off. which funeral homes would delay burials for the right price. The entire infrastructure of death in Los Angeles had been corrupted, monetized, transformed into Elena's feeding network, and Jason was the driver, the assistant, the accomplice, the guy who made it all run smoothly. His bank account grew, $2.1 million after 3 weeks, more money than he'd ever imagined. He paid off his debts, moved to a better apartment, bought a new car, Tesla, Model S Black, silent, perfect for night pickups. Something that said, "I've made it." His sister Rachel noticed. "How did you suddenly get money? You're not doing anything illegal, right?" "Just a better job," Jason said. "Private medical transport. Good clients. Great tips." Not exactly a lie. Just missing the part about the clients being dead when he picked them up. He went to family dinner. Smiled. Acted normal. His mom commented that he looked healthier, less haunted. The nightmares about Patricia Morrison had stopped. Maybe because he'd seen worse things now. Maybe because his brain had recalibrated what horror meant. Then came the job that changed everything. Jason's. Phone buzzed at 11:47 p.m. Elena's text. "Emergency Cedars-Sinai, room 493. Bring the van. Come immediately." Jason drove. Fast. Emergency meant complications. Meant something had gone wrong. He found Elena in the hospital hallway. She looked worried. First time he'd seen real concern on her face. "We have a problem," she said. "The body in 493, female 28, car accident. Died 40 minutes ago. Family wants resurrection." "Okay, so what's the problem?" Elena's red eyes met his. "I know her, Jason. So do you." She opened the door to room 493. Jason looked at the body on the bed. His blood turned to ice. Rachel, his sister. "Rachel Rivers, dead." "No," Jason whispered. "No, this isn't—" "She was fine. She was drunk driver. T-boned her at an intersection. Killed instantly. Massive trauma. I'm sorry, Jason, but her husband called me. He knows about my services. He's willing to pay anything. $50 million upfront. Whatever it takes." Jason stared at his sister's body. At her face, peaceful, gone. He'd spent 3 years haunted by Patricia Morrison. A stranger. Someone he'd tried and failed to save. Now his own sister was dead. And he had the power to bring her back. "Can you do it?" he asked, voice breaking. "Yes, but Jason, she'll be like the others. Trapped, dependent, mine forever." "Is that what you want for your sister?" "Have you ever been given the power to resurrect someone you love, when saving them means damning them?" Jason looked at Elena, at Rachel, at the choice that would define everything. "Do it," he said. "Bring her back. Whatever it costs. Whatever it takes. She's my sister. I can't let her die. Not when I can stop it." Elena nodded slowly. "Then help me prepare her. We'll do this resurrection together. But Jason, after tonight you'll truly understand. What I am. What this business is. What you've become. There's no going back from saving family." Elena made a call, spoke quietly, arranged logistics, then turned to Jason. "The hospital believes she's being transferred to an experimental treatment facility. Her husband Mark signed the paperwork. He thinks she's barely alive, being rushed to specialized care. He doesn't know she's already gone. We have a 90-minute window before he expects to see her at the recovery center. That's when we deliver her. Resurrected. He'll never know she actually died." Jason helped lift his sister's body onto the gurney, wheeled her to the van, drove her to Hollywood Forever Cemetery, watched Elena prepare the resurrection, and wondered what he'd become, what he'd do, what price he'd pay, to save the one person who still believed he was good. The resurrection of Rachel Rivers took 11 minutes, longer than normal. The trauma was extensive. Car accident damage, multiple organ damage, crushed ribs, internal bleeding. Elena had to repair tissues before regeneration could take hold. More syringes, more of her blood, more precision. "Come on," Jason whispered, standing beside his sister's body in a cemetery at 2 a.m. "Come on, Rachel. Come back." Her fingers twitched at minute 9. Jason grabbed her hand, cold, dead, then warming. Cells regenerating, blood flowing again. At minute 11, Rachel's eyes opened. Brown, familiar, confused. "Jason?" Her voice was broken glass. "What? Where am I?" "You're okay. You're alive. There was an accident, but you're okay now." Rachel tried to sit up. Elena helped her. Professional, gentle. "Ms. Rivers, you experienced massive trauma. Fatal injuries, You've been treated with an experimental procedure. You'll feel disoriented for several hours. This is normal. Rachel looked around. Cemetery, medical equipment, Jason in black scrubs, Elena with red-tinged eyes in the darkness. I died, Rachel said. Not a question. A statement. Memory returning. The car. The other driver, he ran the light. I saw him coming. I tried to... Then nothing. I died, Jason. I remember dying. But you're back, Jason said, squeezing her hand. You're back and you're okay. How? Rachel looked at Elena. What did you do to me? Elena began explaining. The serum. The procedure. The treatment requirements. Weekly sessions. Forever. The dependency. The cost. Rachel's expression changed. Understanding, disbelief, horror, anger. You made me a junkie? For your treatments? I'm trapped? You're alive, Elena corrected. Alive requires maintenance. All life does. You eat, drink, sleep. Now you also require periodic cellular regeneration. It's not ideal, but it's existence. Most people consider that preferable to death. Most people didn't get a choice. Rachel turned to Jason. Did you know about this? About her? Jason couldn't meet her eyes. Yes. How long? 3 weeks. And you didn't tell me? You didn't warn me that vampires are real? That resurrection comes with eternal strings attached? I couldn't. It was too dangerous. Too bullshit. Rachel stood, unsteady but furious. You worked for her. You helped her do this to other people. And when I died, you did it to me. Your own sister. You trapped me in this. Have you ever saved someone who wishes you'd let them die? When love becomes imprisonment? I couldn't let you go, Jason said quietly. I've spent 3 years haunted by Patricia Morrison, a stranger I couldn't save. I couldn't lose you too. Not when I had the power to bring you back. That wasn't your choice to make. You were dead, Rachel, dead. What was I supposed to do? Let you stay dead? Tell your husband sorry. I could have saved her, but the ethical implications seemed problematic. Yes, Rachel screamed, voice echoing through the cemetery. Yes, because now I'm this, whatever this is, and I have to live with it forever. Or until I stop paying her, or until she decides I'm not worth keeping alive. You didn't save me, Jason, you sold me. Elena stepped between them. This is a common reaction. The anger, the blame, it passes. Give it time. For now, Ms. Rivers, let's get you home. Your husband is waiting. He believes you survived with critical injuries but responded to experimental treatment. Maintain that story. Come to my clinic Tuesday at 2 p.m. for your first treatment. Afterward, you'll feel better. Stronger. Clearer. The benefits will become apparent. And if I don't come, then you'll experience cellular breakdown, accelerated aging, organ failure, death within 60 to 90 days, painful death. Your choice. I'm offering survival. What you do with it is your decision. Rachel looked at Jason, at Elena, at the cemetery around them, at the impossible reality she'd woken into. I hate you, she said to Jason. I hate that you did this, that you chose this for me, that you took my death and turned it into... this? I know, Jason whispered. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this. Nothing fixes this. Rachel walked to the van, climbed in. Take me home. I need to see my husband. I need to figure out how to lie to him. Since apparently that's what we do now. Lie to everyone we love. The drive to Rachel's house was silent. She sat in back. Staring out the window, Jason drove. Elena beside him in the passenger seat. She'll adapt, Elena said quietly. They all do. Anger becomes acceptance. Acceptance becomes routine. In 6 months, she won't remember what it felt like to refuse treatment. The survival instinct is strong. What if she tells people? Jason asked. What if she exposes you, us? She won't. Because exposure means her husband learns the truth. Her friends, her mother, everyone learns she's dependent on a vampire's blood to stay alive. The shame alone will keep her quiet. Plus the legal implications. Resurrection is technically medical fraud, insurance complications. She's trapped by more than biology. She's trapped by society's inability to process her existence. They reached Rachel's house, suburban, normal. Her husband Mark rushed out, crying, hugging her, thanking Elena and Jason. The doctors said she wouldn't make it, Mark said. Said the injuries were too severe. Then Dr. Volkov called. Said there was a chance. Experimental treatment. I didn't care about the cost. I just wanted her back. You got your wish, Rachel said, hollow, empty. She looked at Jason one last time. I hope it was worth it. She went inside, Mark supporting her. The door closed. Jason stood on the sidewalk, feeling like he'd just destroyed his sister's life while saving it. Elena touched his shoulder. You did the right thing, difficult, complicated, but right. She's alive. That's what matters. Is it? Jason asked. Or did I just condemn her to the same trap as everyone else? There are worse fates than existence, Jason. You of all people should understand that. 2 weeks passed. Rachel attended her treatments, silent, refused to talk to Jason, blocked his calls. He tried visiting. She wouldn't see him. Jason threw himself into work. More resurrections, more clients, more money. He was up to $4.2 million, became numb to the process. Bodies went in dead, came out alive. Repeat, routine. Assembly line. He met Elena's oldest client, Marcus Webb, technically 138 years old, resurrected in 1887 after tuberculosis, looked 40, owned half of downtown LA real estate, paid Elena $500,000 monthly, had been doing so for 138 years. She owns me, Marcus said casually. They were in Elena's clinic, Jason assisting with Marcus's treatment. I could buy and sell countries, but I can't buy freedom from her. Tried everything. Tried synthesizing the serum. Tried finding other vampires. Tried killing her. Nothing works. So I pay. I live. I exist in her shadow forever. Don't you resent it? Jason asked. Every day. But resentment doesn't change reality. I've built an empire in my extended life. Seen things no human should see. Loved people across centuries. It's a prison. But it's a golden prison. Most people would trade their freedom for what I have. Would they? If they knew the real cost? Marcus smiled. Sad. Knowing. They do know, Jason. Every client knows. They just choose to believe it's worth it. That's the genius of Dr. Volkov's system. She doesn't force anyone. She just offers the choice. And humans always choose existence over oblivion. Always. Have you ever met someone who's lived long enough to become their own cage? When time itself is the prison? Jason finished the treatment, walked Marcus out, returned to Elena's office. She was reviewing files. New clients, potential resurrections, business as usual. I need to talk to you, Jason said. Elena looked up. About? My sister Rachel, she's not adapting. She's getting worse, depressed, isolated. I think she's considering stopping treatment, suicide by omission. Not uncommon in the first few months. Most reconsider when symptoms begin. Survival instinct overrides despair. Give her time. What if she doesn't reconsider? What if she just lets herself die? Elena closed her files, looked at Jason, really looked. Would you resurrect her again?
Could I?
Technically, yes. Second resurrections are possible. More expensive, more complicated, but possible. The question is whether you should. Whether forcing her to live against her will is mercy or cruelty. Jason sat down, exhausted. I don't know anymore. I thought I was saving her, but maybe I was just prolonging her suffering, making myself feel better about my own powerlessness. You were being human, Jason. Selfish, desperate, scared. You couldn't save Patricia Morrison, so you saved Rachel instead. You're trying to fix the past by controlling the present. It won't work. It never does. Then what do I do? You accept that you can't control death, or life, or anything except your own choices. You did what you thought was right. Rachel will do what she thinks is right. You don't get to decide for her. Not anymore. Jason nodded, understanding, hating it. Is this how you see all of us? Your clients? Just humans making desperate choices? Yes, but also no. I see people trying to survive, trying to matter, trying to avoid oblivion. I'm not judging them, Jason. I'm helping them achieve what they want, at a price. But isn't that how all relationships work? Exchange, transaction, need, and fulfillment. That's a bleak view of humanity. That's a realistic view of humanity. You've been doing this job for 5 weeks now. You've seen 43 resurrections, 43 people who chose eternal dependency over death, who chose financial burden over rest, who chose deception over truth. Do you really think any of them were forced? They wanted this, just like you wanted Rachel back, just like she'll eventually want to stay alive. Want is the drug, Jason. I just supply the fix. Jason stood. I need air. Take the night off. Clear your head. I have another driver covering tonight's pickup. Rest. Think. Decide if you still want this job. Because once you cross certain lines, Jason, you can't uncross them. And you're approaching one now. What line? Elena's red eyes glowed in the dim office light. The line where you stop being my employee and start being my accomplice. Where you're not just helping me exploit the dead, you're actively choosing to continue, knowing exactly what it means, what it costs, who it hurts. That's the line. And once you cross it knowingly, willingly, consciously, you become me, a creature who trades in life and death for profit, who sees humans as resources, who survives by consuming others. I'm not like you, not yet, but you're getting there. I can see it. The way you talk about clients, the way you've stopped flinching at resurrections, the way you justified trapping your own sister in my system. You're adapting, Jason, becoming what this job requires. Soon you won't even notice. Jason left, walked to his car, sat in the darkness. His phone showed $4.2 million his account. Blood money, resurrection money. The price of his complicity. He drove. Not home, not to Rachel's, just drove through LA, watching the city, the people, the living. Who didn't know that death was negotiable, that resurrection was real, that vampires walked among them? His phone buzzed. Text from Rachel. We need to talk. Tomorrow. Coffee shop on Melrose. 10 a.m. Come alone. Jason stared at the message. Rachel finally reaching out, after 2 weeks of silence. To say what? That she hated him? That she was stopping treatment? That she'd found a way to escape? He texted back, I'll be there, tomorrow. He'd face his sister, face what he'd done, face the consequences of choosing life over death, of choosing his needs over her autonomy, of choosing to resurrect someone who didn't want to be saved. But tonight, he just drove, through the city, through the darkness, through the maze of choices that had led him here, and wondered if Elena was right, if he was becoming like her, a creature who'd lost the ability to see humans as anything more than resources, as anything more than problems to solve, as anything more than bodies to transport between death and dependent life. The next morning, Jason arrived at the coffee shop at 9:47 a.m., early, anxious. He ordered coffee he didn't drink, sat by the window, watched the door. Rachel arrived at 10:03. She looked better, healthier. The treatments were working. Her skin glowed. Her eyes were bright. She looked younger even. Like resurrection had reversed years, she sat across from him. No greeting, no small talk. I've been thinking, Rachel said, about what you did, about what I am now, about what this means. Rachel, let me finish. Her voice was steady, controlled. You saved my life. I didn't want you to. But you did. And now I'm alive. I have to deal with that. I have to figure out how to live with this, with what I've become. I'm so sorry. If I could take it back, but you can't. And honestly, I don't know if I'd want you to, because being alive it's not nothing, Jason, it's something. I get to see my husband, my friends, my mom. I get to exist, even if existence comes with strings, even if those strings are attached to a vampire. So you're okay with this? Rachel laughed, bitter. I'm not okay. I'll never be okay. But I'm adapting, learning to live in this nightmare. And I need you to understand something. I don't forgive you. I don't know if I ever will. But I understand why you did it. You couldn't save that woman 3 years ago, so you saved me instead. You were trying to fix your trauma. I was just collateral damage. Have you ever been forgiven and condemned in the same breath, when absolution comes wrapped in blame? I love you, Jason said. That's why I did it. Not to fix myself, to save you. Love doesn't justify everything, Jason. Sometimes love is just another word for control, for imposing your will on someone else's life or death. You love me so much you couldn't let me go. Even when letting go was the right thing, the kind thing, you chose yourself over me. Your need over my peace. That's not love. That's possession. Jason said nothing, because she was right. He'd saved Rachel for himself, to ease his guilt, to prove he could, to feel powerful in the face of death. There's something else, Rachel continued. I've been researching Dr. Volkov, her business, her clients, her history. Do you know how many people she's resurrected? She said over 7,000. 7,412 to be exact. And do you know how many are still alive? Jason shook his head. 313, including me. So where are the other 7,099? Where did they go? Jason's blood went cold. They died, eventually. Accidents, failures to maintain treatment. That's what she told you. But I did some digging, found records, death certificates, disappearances. Most of her clients die within 5 years. Sudden, violent, mysterious. Car accidents, home invasions, suicides. always conveniently timed when they're having financial troubles, or expressing doubts, or threatening to expose her. You think she's killing them? I think she's managing her liability. 7,099 people knew her secret, knew she was a vampire, knew about resurrection. That's 7,000 potential threats. Now they're gone. And the 313 who remain? We're the successful ones, the compliant ones, the ones who adapted, who don't ask questions, who pay on time, who keep quiet. Rachel, if that's true, if she finds out you're investigating, then I'm dead. Again. Permanently. I know. But Jason, you need to understand what you're part of. This isn't a medical business. It's a culling operation. She resurrects people, makes them dependent, monitors them. And when they become inconvenient, they disappear. You're not her assistant. You're her accomplice to mass murder. Jason stood, shaking. I have to go. I have to. You have to what? Confront her? She'll kill you. Quit? She'll kill you. Run? She'll find you. You're trapped, Jason. Just like me. Just like all of us. The only difference is you chose this. I didn't. Rachel stood too. Looked at her brother. Sad, tired. Be careful. Watch yourself. And if you find a way out, a real way out, tell me. Because I don't want to die, but I don't want to live like this either. Waiting for the day Dr. Volkov decides I'm too expensive to keep alive. She left. Jason sat back down, staring at his coffee, at his reflection in the window, at the monster he'd become. Elena was culling her clients. Had been for centuries. The resurrection wasn't salvation. It was a slow death sentence with profit margins. And Jason had helped her do it. 43 times. 43 people he delivered into her trap, including his own sister. His phone buzzed. Elena, emergency pickup tonight, midnight, meet me at the warehouse. We need to talk. Jason stared at the message. Warehouse. Not the clinic. Not the cemetery. Somewhere new. This wasn't a pickup. This was something else. Something worse. And Jason had a terrible feeling he was about to become another liability. Another problem to manage. Another name on Elena's list of disappearances. He had 12 hours to decide. Run and spend the rest of his life looking over his shoulder, or face Elena and hope he could survive whatever came next. Either way, the night shift was about to get much darker. Jason spent the day preparing. Not for resurrection, for death. His own, he wrote letters to Rachel, to his mom. Explanations, apologies, confessions, sealed them. Left them in his apartment with instructions to mail if he disappeared. He researched warehouses in L.A., found the address Elena had sent. Industrial district, abandoned, no cameras, no witnesses. Perfect place for a cleanup. He considered running. Mexico, Canada, somewhere far. But Elena had 3 centuries of experience hunting. She'd find him, and running meant leaving Rachel, his mom, everyone he loved, alone with a vampire who culled her liabilities. So at 11:47 p.m., Jason drove to the warehouse. Old meatpacking plant, graffiti covered, windows broken, chain link fence with an open gate. He parked outside, checked his phone. Text from Rachel. Whatever happens tonight, you tried. That's more than most people do. I love you. Even if I hate what you did. Be safe, Jason texted back. I love you too. If I don't make it, the letters in my apartment explain everything. Give them to the police. Expose her. Free yourself, he got out. Walked to the warehouse entrance. Door was open. Darkness inside. Except for a single light in the center of the massive space, Elena stood under the light. No medical equipment. No resurrection setup. Just her. And a chair. And a gun on a small table. Hello, Jason, she said, voice echoing. Thank you for coming. Did I have a choice? Everyone has choices. You're just starting to understand the consequences. Come, sit. We have much to discuss. Jason approached. Slowly. Ready to run. To fight. To do anything except sit in that chair. I'm not sitting. Then stand. I don't care. But listen. Elena's red eyes glowed in the darkness. Your sister has been asking questions, researching my history. My clients. My business practices. She's discovered uncomfortable truths. And she's shared them with you, yes? Yes. And now you think I'm going to kill you. Eliminate the liability. Clean up the loose end. Correct? Aren't you? Elena smiled. No, Jason, I'm going to offer you a promotion. Jason froze. What? You've been my assistant for 6 weeks. Assisted with 71 resurrections. Earned $5.3 million. Learned the system. Proven yourself reliable. Discreet. Effective. You've also become emotionally invested. Your sister's resurrection sealed that. You can't expose me without destroying her. You can't run without abandoning her. You can't kill me without losing access to the treatments she needs. You're trapped, perfectly, permanently. So why the warehouse? Why the gun? Because I'm offering you a choice. The same choice I've offered to 17 others over 3 centuries. Become like me. Become vampire. Become immortal. Become my true partner in this business. Or remain human. Remain limited. Remain eventually disposable. Have you ever been offered immortality by a monster? When damnation wears the face of salvation. You want to turn me? I want to test you. The gun on the table contains 1 silver bullet. Silver is one of the few substances that can kill me permanently. You have 3 options. 1. Shoot me, end this. Free yourself and Rachel and all my clients. Risk everything on a single shot. 2. Shoot yourself. End your complicity, your guilt, your awareness. Leave Rachel to navigate this world alone. 3. Accept my offer. Let me turn you. Become immortal. Become powerful. Become the thing you've been serving. Jason looked at the gun, at Elena, at the impossible choice. Why? Why offer this to me? Because loneliness is eternal, Jason. I've lived 347 years, alone. Always alone. Humans are temporary. Clients die or disappoint or betray. But a vampire partner? Someone who understands this existence? Someone who shares the burden and the benefit? That's rare. Precious. Worth the risk. The risk that I'll shoot you? Yes, 17 times I've made this offer. 14 shot themselves, couldn't handle the choice. The weight. The impossibility. 2 ran, I found them. Killed them. They failed the test. 1 accepted. Became vampire. Became my partner for 83 years. Then chose to walk into sunlight. Said immortality was lonelier than death. So I'm alone again. Searching, testing, hoping. And tonight, I'm testing you. Jason moved toward the table. Toward the gun, silver, heavy, real. What did you do with the 7,000 clients who disappeared? He asked. Rachel found records. Deaths, vanishings. Did you kill them? Some, most killed themselves. Resurrection has a 58% suicide rate within 5 years. The ones who adapted, who accepted, who thrived, they're my current roster. The others? They couldn't handle existence with strings, couldn't handle knowing they were trapped. So they stopped treatment, let themselves die, or jumped, or overdosed, or walked into traffic. I didn't kill them, Jason. The weight of resurrection killed them. The knowledge that life wasn't free, that survival required submission. Some people can't carry that, so they put it down. And the ones you did kill? Threatened exposure, tried to synthesize my serum, attempted to kill me, attacked other clients. They became dangers, liabilities. I eliminated them. Surgically. Necessarily. It's survival, Jason. Species preservation. Would you judge a lion for killing threats to its pride? You're not a lion. You're a businesswoman who murders for profit. I'm a predator who's learned to farm instead of hunt. I'm civilized violence, structured exploitation. The American dream with fangs? Don't pretend you're innocent. You've helped me trap 71 people, 71 humans who now depend on me forever. You're as complicit as I am. The only difference is honesty. I admit what I am. You're still pretending you had no choice. Jason picked up the gun, felt its weight, its promise, its threat. If I shoot you, Rachel dies. Within 90 days, painful, cellular breakdown. Yes. If I shoot myself, Rachel survives but hates herself, knows her existence killed me. Yes. If I accept, I become like you, immortal, evil, alone. Not alone. With me. And Jason, evil is perspective. To the cow, the farmer is evil. To the farmer, he's providing sustenance for his family. To my clients, I'm salvation. To their families, I'm miracle worker. To you, I'm monster. But what am I to myself? Survivor, that's all. Just someone who refused to die. Who adapted. Who found a way to exist in a world that wants me extinct. Jason aimed the gun. At Elena. Her red eyes didn't flinch. She stood perfectly still. Waiting. Testing. Hoping. 1 shot. In 3 centuries of exploitation. Free Rachel.
Free all the clients.
Free himself. But Rachel would die. Definitely. Painfully. Knowing her brother murdered her chance at life. Jason lowered the gun, aimed at his own head. 1 shot, and the guilt. The complicity. The knowledge. Let Rachel figure out her own survival. Stop being the one who makes choices for others. But that was cowardice. Running. Again. Like he'd run from EMT work. Like he'd run from Patricia Morrison's death. Always running when things got hard. He lowered the gun again, looked at Elena. This creature who'd lived longer than America, who'd survived revolutions and wars and centuries, who'd turned death into business, life into product, humans into cattle. If I accept, Jason said quietly, do I have to help you kill people? The ones who become liabilities? Yes, that's part of partnership. Shared burden, shared guilt, shared survival. And I'd live forever, watching everyone I love die? My mom? Rachel? Everyone? Rachel would be alive because of you. Your mother would age naturally, die naturally. You'd mourn. Then you'd continue, as I have, as all immortals do. The pain fades. New connections form. Centuries smooth the edges of loss. And the hunger? The blood. You'd feed from clients, same as me, sustainable, controlled, ethical as possible given what we are. There's nothing ethical about this. Then shoot me, or shoot yourself, or accept. Those are your options. Choose. Have you ever held your own damnation in your hands? When every choice is wrong, but one choice is forever. Jason stood there, gun in hand. Minutes passing. Elena waited. Patient, immortal patience. He thought about Patricia Morrison, the woman who'd died because he couldn't save her, who'd haunted him for 3 years, who'd driven him to this moment. He thought about Rachel, alive because of him, trapped because of him, hating him and loving him simultaneously. He thought about the 71 people he'd helped resurrect, the clients who'd chosen life over death, who'd accepted the price, who'd adapted. He thought about himself, Jason Rivers, ex-EMT, Uber driver, accomplice to mass exploitation, man who'd sold his soul for $5.3 million and the illusion of control. What was he? Coward? Hero? Victim? Monster? Maybe all of them. Maybe none. Maybe just human. Desperately human. Making impossible choices in impossible situations. Jason made his decision. He put the gun down on the table. Stepped back. I'm not shooting anyone. Not you, not me. I'm not accepting either. I'm walking away. Elena's expression flickered. Surprise, respect, disappointment. That's not one of the options. I'm making it one. You said everyone has choices. I choose to live with this. With the guilt, with the knowledge, with the complicity. I'll keep working for you. Keep helping resurrections. Keep earning blood money. But I won't become you. Won't pretend this is anything but exploitation. Won't accept immortality as reward for moral bankruptcy. Rachel will still need treatments. I know. I'll pay. Forever if necessary. That's my burden, my choice, my punishment and my redemption. I'll carry this weight until I die. Naturally, humanly, temporarily. You realize I could just kill you now? For refusing? You could, but you won't, because I'm useful. I'm complicit. I'm trapped. And I'm choosing to stay trapped knowingly. That's more valuable than another vampire partner who'll eventually walk into sunlight. I'm your proof that the system works, that humans will choose survival over freedom. That's worth more than my death. Elena stared at him. Long moment, calculating, then laughed. Real, genuine, surprised. You're right. Damn you, Jason Rivers. You're absolutely right. You're more useful as a willing accomplice than a reluctant vampire. Fine. Keep your humanity. Keep your guilt. Keep your moral high ground that's actually a pit. But understand, you just chose to be my employee forever. Until natural death, which for humans happens much faster than you think. I know. I accept. Then go home. Rest. Tomorrow night, 3 resurrections. All fresh. All wealthy. All desperate. You'll assist. You'll profit. You'll hate yourself. And you'll do it again and again. Until your body fails or your mind breaks. That's your choice. That's your freedom. Congratulations. Jason turned. Walked away. Toward the exit. Toward his car. Toward his life of complicity and guilt and blood money. Jason? Elena called. One more thing. Your sister, Rachel. She'll need treatments for approximately 43 years. If she maintains perfect compliance. After that, her body will reject the serum. Age will accelerate. Death will come anyway. You didn't save her forever. You just postponed the inevitable. Everyone dies, Jason. Even my clients. Eventually. Jason stopped. Absorbed that. 43 years. Half a lifetime. Half a prison sentence. But temporary. Everything was temporary. Except regret. He kept walking. Got in his car. Drove away from the warehouse. From the choice. From the gun he didn't fire. Epilogue. 2 years later, Jason Rivers sat in his car, outside Cedars-Sinai, waiting for the notification. 2:47 a.m. like always. His phone buzzed. Emergency pickup. Room 624. Fresh death. Resurrection requested. He accepted. Got out. Walked into the hospital, wearing his black uniform. His badge. His complicity. Room 624. Young man. Maybe 25. Overdose. Accidental. Tragic. Wealthy parents. Desperate. Willing to pay anything. Jason prepared the gurney. Loaded the body. Drove to Hollywood Forever Cemetery. Met Elena. Assisted with the resurrection. Watched the corpse become client. The dead become dependent. The young man woke. Confused. Terrified. Jason explained. The treatment requirements. The lifetime dependency. The cost. Do I have a choice? The young man asked. You always have a choice, Jason said. Life with strings, or death with peace. Most people choose life, then regret it, then accept it, then forget they ever had a choice. That's how it works. What would you choose? Jason thought about that. 2 years of this. 196 resurrections. $11 million earned. Rachel still alive. Still hating him. Still dependent. Still trapped. I'd choose the temporary over the permanent, Jason said finally. The regret over the oblivion. The weight over the peace. Because humans aren't meant for peace. We're meant for struggle, for guilt, for carrying impossible weights until we collapse. That's life. Real life. Not the extended version Dr. Volkov sells. Just the brief, painful, meaningful version that ends. So I should refuse? Let myself die? I didn't say that. I just said that's what I'd choose. But I'm not you. You get to decide. That's the gift and the curse. Choice. The young man looked at Elena, at Jason, at the cemetery, at life and death standing side by side offering different prices for the same product. I want to live, he said, finally. Whatever it costs, however long it lasts, I want to live. Then welcome to the night shift, Jason said. It gets easier. The guilt, the awareness, the knowledge that you're trapped. Give it time. Everyone adapts. Everyone survives. Until they don't, Jason drove the young man home, collected his payment, added it to his account, went back to his apartment. Expensive now, nice. Everything money could buy except peace. He checked his phone. Message from Rachel. Treatment tomorrow, same time. Thanks for the payment. Still hate you. Also still love you. Life is complicated. Jason smiled, bitter, tired. Yeah, it is. See you tomorrow. He lay down, closed his eyes. Didn't see Patricia Morrison anymore. Saw 71 faces instead, then 196. Soon it would be thousands. All the people he'd helped trap, all the choices he'd facilitated, but he was still human, still temporary, still mortal, and someday, maybe in 40 years, maybe in 4, he'd die, naturally, permanently, and all of this would end. Until then, he'd drive the night shift. He'd assist the resurrections. He'd carry the weight, because that's what humans do. They choose. They regret. They survive. They adapt, and they drive through the darkness, ferrying the dead back to life, knowing that every passenger is just another soul trapped between salvation and damnation, just like him. The night shift never ended. It just continued, one resurrection at a time, one choice at a time, one compromise at a time until dawn, which never came. Not for people like Jason Rivers, not for accomplices to immortality, not for drivers who'd learned that death was negotiable, life was exploitable, and humanity was just another commodity to transport through Los Angeles darkness. He closed his eyes. Tomorrow more resurrections, more clients, more blood money, more nights forever, or until his body gave out, whichever came first. But at least he'd chosen. At least he'd stayed human. At least he'd refused to become the monster, even while serving one. That had to count for something, didn't it? Jason didn't know. Didn't care. Just closed his eyes and waited for the next notification, the next pickup, the next death that would become life. The night shift continued, and Jason Rivers drove on, through darkness, through guilt, through choices that had no right answers, only consequences, and that was enough. It had to be, because the alternative was oblivion, and humans always chose existence over oblivion. Always, even when existence was a prison, even when survival was a trap, even when life came with eternal strings attached, they chose. And then they lived with it. Or died trying. That was the deal. That was the business. That was Resurrection, and Jason Rivers was the driver who made it all possible. One corpse at a time, one choice at a time, one night at a time. Welcome to the night shift. Welcome to Los Angeles. Welcome to the city where death was temporary, life was negotiable, and vampires ran subscription services for immortality. Population 314 resurrected, and counting the end.